Let me ask you this. Does what it says in the secret book of John seem any more or less plausible than what we read in the Gospel of John? Say more about that.
They're both kind of, they could both be seen as, you know, happening. If you're going to believe one, it's not that far-fetched to see the other one.
Yeah. So for you, they seem equally unusual, or
yeah.
I mean, you didn't say they were far-fetched, but any other thoughts about why one would be believable but the other one would not be? They're both probably written around the same time. Okay, you guys are way too quiet. You guys have mostly just stared at me today. What's up with that? I know that I'm not the most thrilling lecturer ever, but usually I get more of a response than just staring.
I kind of have a question. Why did they pick, when did they make with the Council of Nicaea or whatever? Why did they pick the Gospel of John over the Secret Book of John?
Because the people who made that decision had more power than the people who made the other gospel. I mean,
so it was just more popular, basically.
I mean, which gospels were selected to be put in the New Testament had a lot to do with which group had the most power.
Okay.
There were Christians who followed this gospel, and there were Christians who followed that gospel. And one of the groups had more power than the other group. So why was it in the New Testament? Well, because that group tended to have more power than the other group when the canon was formed. I mean, it's more complicated than that. That's a little simplified, but I think that's a basic answer. Yeah?
Do people actually follow this?
Today, no, because that group died out a long time ago. In part, they were probably killed off by some of the other Christians. And the text was lost and wasn't rediscovered until, I think, 1945. They discovered it in Egypt. So this group died off a long time ago. But at one point in time, apparently people followed this.
It's really not that much different if you really think about it. Like, yeah, the details are different, but I guess the overall view of what
like the spirit world and the material world.
It's basically the same.
Where it gets fundamentally different is that the people who wrote the New Testament did not view Yahweh as an evil God.
Right, exactly.
Where this group did see Yahweh as an evil God.
Were these the dudes that were considered the Gnostics?
Yeah, I don't want to use that language because Gnostic is kind of a dubious category. Like, yes, they're called Gnostics, but scholars have stopped using that term. Some scholars have stopped using that term because when they're like, okay, we call all this stuff Gnostic, what does all this stuff have in common? And they were like, oh, nothing. They just kind of like randomly collected a bunch of stuff together and called it Gnostic. They don't do that anymore. Other questions or thoughts about this?
What is Gnostic?
Don't worry about it because I was just saying to him, like scholars are trying to get away from that label because it's not a good label. All right. I'm going to take 5 more minutes of your time. I want you guys to tell me, I'm going to make you talk. Tell me some of the things that you remember from the 2 Gospels that we read.